Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter Quinto, what is it? Canto 5, 5th canto. Chapter 9, the supreme character of Jada Bharat. Text 4, translation purport by Srimad Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. Silence. Mauna. Silence. I don't know. Translators occupied.
Text 4?
Text 4.
Okay. You're reading? Or
No, I'm waiting for you to translate.
Ah, okay.
We're reading from
Yeah,
5th canto of Srimad
I
Bhagavatam.
need to go to the right place.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. Okay. Шримад Бхагаватам, 5 песен, 9 глава, 4 стих. Сърцето на Брамна бе изпълнено с обич и привързаност към сина му Джада Барат Махарадж. Тъй като не бе годен за грехаста Ашрама, Джада Барата извърши причестващи церемонии само до края на Брамачаря Ашрама. Въпреки че нямаше голямо желание да слуша наставление, баща му го учеше как да се мие и да се пази чист, защото смяташе, че синът трябва да се учи от бащата.
That wasn't the idea, but you just, anyway, to translate what I said.
Yeah,
Now I'm going to do the English.
This is why I asked.
Yeah, and therefore I told you, just translate what I said. 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 4, translation purport, etc. Anyway, translation of text 4. The Brahmana father's mind was always filled with affection for his son, Jada Bharat Maharaj. Therefore he was always attached to Jada Bharata. Because Jada Bharata was unfit to enter the Grihastha ashram, he simply executed the purificatory process up to the end of the Brahmacharya ashram. Although Jada Bharat was unwilling to accept his father's instructions, the Brahmana nonetheless instructed him in how to keep clean and how to wash, thinking that the son should be taught by the father. Purport. Jada Bharat was Bharat Maharaj in the body of a Brahmana, and he outwardly conducted himself as if he were dull, deaf, dumb, and blind.
Джада Барата бил Барата Махарадж в тялото на Брамана и външно се държал все едно е слабоумен, сляп и глухоням.
Actually, he was quite alert within.
Но вътре в себе си бил буден и внимателен.
He knew perfectly well of the results of fruitive activity and the results of devotional service.
Той добре разбирал разликата в последиците от плодоносната дейност и от преданото служение.
In the body of a Brahmana, Maharaj Bharata was completely absorbed in devotional service within. Therefore, he was not at all necessary for him to execute the regulative principles of fruitive activity.
В тялото си на Брамана Махарадж, Барата вътрешно потопен в предано служение не намирал за необходимо да следва предписанията, свързани с плодоносните дейности.
As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-13, Svanushthitasya dharmasya samusidhir haritoshanam. One has to satisfy Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the perfection of the regulative principles of fruitive activity.
Шримад Бхагаватам потвърждава, човек трябва да удовлетвори Хари и върховната божествена личност. Това е съвършенството на предписанията за плодоносните дейности.
Besides that, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-8, Dharma svanushtita pungsam vishvaksena katasuyaha not parayet yati yaratim shrama evahi kevalam. Duties, dharma, executed by men, regardless of occupation, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Lord.
Освен това, Шримад Бхагаватам се казва, задълженията дарма, изпълнявани от хората, независимо от тяхната професия, са напълно безполезен труд, ако не пробуждат влечение към посланията на Божествената личност.
These karmakanda activities are required as long as one has not developed Krishna consciousness.
Дейностите на карма канда са необходими за тези, които още не са развили Кришна съзнание.
If one is developed in Krishna consciousness, there is no need to execute the prior regulative principles of karma kanda.
Ако Кришна съзнание е развито, няма нужда да се изпълняват предписващи правила на карма канда.
Srila Madhavendra Puri said, "Oh, regulative principles of karma kanda, please excuse me. I cannot follow all these regulative principles, for I am fully engaged in devotional service."
Шрила Мадавендра Пури казва, о, правила и предписания на карма канда, моля, простете ми, не мога да ви следвам, защото изцяло съм се посветил на преданно служение.
He expressed the desire to sit somewhere beneath a tree and continue chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Той иска да седне под някое дърво и да повтаря Маха мантрата Харе Кришна, а не да изпълнява правила.
Consequently, he did not execute all the regulative principles. Similarly, Haridas Thakur was born in the Mohammedan family.
Друг пример е Харидас Такур, роден в мюсюлманско семейство.
From the very beginning of his life, he was never trained in the Karma Kanda system, but because he was always chanting the holy name of the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as Namacharya, the authority in chanting the holy name.
Той никога не е бил обучаван в метода Карма Канда, но понеже постоянно повтарял святото име на Бога Шри Чайтаня Махапрабху го обявил за Намачаря, авторитет във възпяването на святото име.
As Jada Bharata, Maharaj Bharata was always engaged in devotional service within his mind.
В образа на Джада Барата, Барат Махарадж бил вътрешно погълнат от преданно служение.
Since he had executed the regulative principles continuously for 3 lives, he was not interested in continuing to execute them, although his Brahmana father wanted him to do so.
В продължение на 3 живота той изпълнявал правилата на Карма Канда и нямал голямо желание да продължава с тях, въпреки че баща му искал това.
So the whole system of this Varnashram system, where Brahmana is part of, is to perfect one's life.
Целта на системата на Варна Шрама е да постигнем съвършенство в своя живот.
And one of the main aspects is to become free from sinful reactions.
Едно от основните цели е да се освободим от греховните реакции.
So therefore there is this Karma Kanda section which describes activities which are fruitive but which are not sinful.
Карма Канда секцията описва дейности, които са плодоносни, но не са греховни.
But as we understand from Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, whether this way or that way, sinful or pious activities will bind one.
Но както разбираме от Бхагавад Гита, Бог Кришна, независимо какви са дейности, греховни или плодоносни, те ще ни обвържат.
So therefore he tells Arjuna, yagyartat karma non yatra lokanam karma bandhana. Unless activities are performed for yagya, who is Vishnu, and yagya means sacrifice, then karma bandhana, they will bind one to the material world.
Ако дейности не са извършени като жертва за Вишну, те ще ни обвържат материалния свят.
So Prabhupada, he quotes this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma Svanushtita Pumsa, which means you may execute your dharma in the Varnashram system, Brahmana Dharma, Kshatriya Dharma, perfectly. But if not parayadyadi ratim, if there's no development of affection for the Lord, then shrama eva ikevala, just a useless waste of time.
Шива Прабхупад цитира този стих от Шримад Бхагаватам, може да изпълняваме своята дарма, своите религиозни дейности, но ако не развием привързаност към Кришна, тогава няма никакъв смисъл.
Now in the second part of this purport, of course, he speaks about personalities who are beyond Varnashram Dharma, Madhavendra Puri and Haridas Thakur.
И след това в пояснението Шива Прабхупад обяснява, дава примери с личности, които са отвъд Варна Шрама Дарма, Харидас Такур и Мадhavендра Пури.
And in one sense, we also are supposed to be beyond Varnashram Dharma.
И от една страна от нас също се очаква да бъдем отвъд системата на Варнашрама Дharma.
It's kind of, we're not sure, actually.
Всъщност, не сме много сигурни за това.
I will explain what I mean.
Ще обясня какво значи това.
From one point of view, Vaishnavas are not part of Varnashram Dharma.
От една гледна точка, вайшнавите не са част от Варнашрама Дharma.
Therefore, if we look back in history, we see our Vaishnava acharyas, like for example, Bhakti Thakur or Kishore Das Babaji or Jagannath Das Babaji, even the Goswamis, they don't wear a Brahman thread. They're not Brahmanas in that sense.
Ако погледнем нашите ачари, Бхакти Тхакур, Кишор Das Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji, дори Госвамите, те не са носили свещен шнур.
But then suddenly Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has a Brahman thread.
Но изведнъж Шрила Бхактисиддханта Сарасвати Такур се е появил с свещен шнур.
And Srila Prabhupada has one.
И Шрила Прабхупад също има такъв.
And some of us have one.
И някои от нас имат такъв.
So we are supposedly now part of Varnashram, right? Or not?
И се очаква да сме част от тази система на Варнашрама Дharma. Или не?
So in one sense, well, yes and no, because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati introduced this just for the fact to show the smarta brahmanas that Vaishnavas are not less than brahmanas.
И целта на въвеждането на този брамана Шрила Бхактисиддханта Сарасвати Такур е да покаже на смарта браманите, че вайшнавите не са по ниша позиция от тях.
But from this other point of view, as we see here, Madhavendra Puri, Haridas Thakur, they're not following these principles of Varnashram.
Примерно Мадhavendra Puri и Харидас Такур, те не са следвали тези принципи на Варнашрама Дharma.
And Srila Prabhupada quotes a prayer by Madhavendra Puri. He actually sees the principles personified as, excuse me, I cannot follow you.
И молитвата на Мадhavендра Пури, той вижда персонификацията и тези правила и казва, че не може повече да ги следва.
And the reason is I'm fully engaged in devotional service.
Причината е, че съм напълно ангажиран с преданното служение.
Prabhupada even says he expressed the desire to sit somewhere beneath a tree and just chant Hare Krishna.
Той изразил желанието просто да стои под едно дърво и да разпява Харе Кришна.
And similarly, there was Haridas Thakur who basically didn't do anything else than just chanting Hare Krishna all day.
И имаме и примера с Харидас Такур, който всъщност не е правил нищо друго, освен да възпява Харе Кришна мантра.
So in our history, we also had a few personalities who tried that.
В нашата история също имаме няколко личности, които са опитали това.
No names, but there was one person, he was sitting under a tree in Mayapur.
Няма да казвам имена, но имаше една личност, която стоеше под едно дърво в Майапур.
Prabhupada was taking his morning walk every day, and he was seeing him from a distance.
Прабхупад се разхождаше всяка сутрин и го виждаше от разстояние.
He was asked, who is that?
Кой е този?
Such and such Maharaj.
този Махарадж.
And anyway, so after some time he disappeared from the tree and disappeared from ISKCON.
И в един момент той е изчезнал от дървото и от ISKCON.
And there was another one at the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, apparently near Delhi, in some forest, chanting Hare Krishna all day long.
И също и по време на Шрила Бхактисиддханта Сарасвати Такур е имало един човек още, който е мантрувал в горите до Дели.
And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta wrote a letter to the president of the Delhi temple.
И Шрила Бхактисиддханта Сарасвати написал писмо до храма президент на Дели.
And he told him, if you can somehow or other get him back from the forest and engage him in some practical service, this would be very good.
Добре е да го върнеш гората и да го ангажираш някакво практично предано служение.
So, although this is obviously bona fide for personalities like Madhavendra Puri and Haridas Thakur, for us it means imitation.
Въпреки че изглежда това е авторитетно за личности като Мадhavendra Puri и Харидас Такур, за нас това е трудно.
And even the Varnashram system, it's sometimes a controversial topic, apparently for some, shouldn't be.
И темата за Варнашрама Дарма по принцип е така, тема с която буди различни.
Yes. There was an interesting conversation on February 14th, 1977 in Mayapur again.
Буди различни съмнения за нас, не трябва да е така. Има един разговор през 77 в Майапур.
Between Prabhupada, Satsvarup Maharaj and Harish Sauri.
Между Шрила Прабхупад, Сатсваруп Махарадж и Хари Сори.
And the topic was second initiation.
И темата била второ посвещение.
You know, Prabhupada wasn't very happy that, and he already had written letters before, that easily people were recommended for second initiation, and then later on it turned out they weren't really fit.
Шрила Прабхупад вече бил писал, че не бил доволен от това, че много лесно някои предани са препоръчвани за второ посвещение, но във времето се виждало, че те не спазват стандарт.
And then he somehow made the point that it was not necessary that everybody would take second initiation.
И в един момент той казал, че всъщност не е задължително, че всеки трябва да приеме второ посвещение.
And it's back in 1977, so our experience is after 1 year, unless you're completely stupid, you will have second initiation.
И това е през 77. Нашия опит показва, че ако за една година човека не е...
Like a normal process. After 1 year, you have been there still, you have not left, okay, now you can take second initiation.
Ако за една година предан е напуснал, такъв стандарт се е оформил, че тогава предан може да получи втори.
So that was the argument of both. Actually, but Prabhupada, everybody takes second initiation. Why you are not saying it's not necessary?
Но те казали, Прабхупад всеки взима второ посвещение, защо казваш, че не е необходимо?
So then it came this point that, but there, you know, the process is chanting. Everybody is chanting the holy name. And because we're chanting, so therefore, you know, there shouldn't be any problem.
И всъщност темата била, че в крайна сметка процесът е свързан с заспяване на святите имена и от тази гледна точка не трябва да има проблем.
And then Prabhupada just asked, who is chanting?
И Прабхупад тогава задава въпроса, кой мантрува?
And we went, well, why does he ask this? Everybody is chanting, right?
Защо?
You are chanting, I hope.
Защо Прабхупад е задал този въпрос? Всеки мантрува, нали?
So he meant, well, who is really chanting without offense?
Но той всъщност има предвид, кой всъщност мантрува истински без оскърбление.
And anyway, so the conclusion was that even for devotees, it may be necessary for some to go through the process of varnashram because they are not fit just to become elevated by chanting.
И заключението е било, че за някои предани е добре да минат през системата на Варнашрама Дарма, защото те просто може да не могат да постигнат това съвършенство само чрез мантруване.
So how to do that? Even after almost 50 years, we have not been able to figure out exactly.
Как да го направим точно, дори след 50 години още не сме открили точното решение.
Yeah, because normally you just chant and that should be sufficient, and it is.
По принцип, самото мантруване трябва да е достатъчно, но...
Yeah, so even in the early 60s, Prabhupada gave the example, we know this example of the elevator and the staircase.
И Шрила Прабхупад е дал този пример, който знаем с стълбите и асансьор.
So you want to go to the top floor, that's the goal.
Искате да отидете на последния етаж, ако това е целта.
And there's two ways. Here also you have an elevator and you have the stairs. It's your choice.
Както и тук има асансьор и стълб.
If you can take the elevator and then you're going very quickly, and otherwise it will take a little more time.
Ако вземете асансьора, ще отидете доста по-бързо.
Now the staircase generally should be more easy. It's pretty straightforward what you have to do. You just one step up and then you're going to go up.
Стълбите изглежда, че са много лесно, какво трябва да се прави една стълба след друга.
In the elevator there are so many buttons. Which one I have to press and
В асансьора е малко по-сложно, защото има повече копчета, което трябва да натиснете.
So, but the point was that yes, chanting is like taking the elevator and varnashram is like taking the staircase.
Идеята е била, че асансьора е, че процеса на мантруване, а стълбите са процеса на системата на Варнашрама Дарма.
Now, again, back in the 70s, 60s, we thought, well, just by chanting we'll go very quickly with the elevator. No? In a few years we'll be at the top floor.
И тогава си мислим просто, че сме трони, за няколко години ще сме
Now,
последния етаж с асансьора.
50 years later, we suddenly realize I'm still on the ground floor and haven't figured out which button to press.
И
So
50
if you would have taken the staircase, maybe you would have already been on the first floor by now.
50 години по-късно съзнаваме, че още сме на приземния етаж и не знам кой бутон точно да натисна. А пък ако бяхме взели стълбите, може би ще сме вече на първия етаж.
But I'm not saying that's everybody's case. Everybody has their own elevator. We are not all in the same elevator.
Всеки има своя асансьор. Не казвам това, че трябва да е случая за всеки един.
But if we're honest and make a survey, anonymous, you don't have to give your name. If we're really honest, maybe some will admit, I think I'm still on the ground floor, or maybe a little bit gone up, but definitely I'm not on the top floor.
И ако направим едно анонимно проучване, тогава може би всеки, ако е искрен, ще видим, че повечето от нас са на приземния или максимум на първия етаж.
So this Jada Bharat is a very unique case, of course.
И тук има един уникален случай с Джада Барата.
As all the cases in Srimad Bhagavatam, as we can imagine, they're not ordinary.
Всички случаи в Шримад Бхагаватам, които не са обикновени.
As we mentioned, we heard about his fall down is special. It's not just because of sinful activities or even just because of being alone or because of having committed offense.
Както прочетахме, дори неговото падение не е обикновено, не е заради греховни дейности или оскърбление.
It's a lesson for us.
Това е урок за нас.
That's the main point, practically speaking. And then he could remember as a deer, and now he is being born in a Brahmana family, but he's called Jada Bharat.
И след това е бил роден като елен и сега в браминско семейство, наречен Джада Барат.
So Jada is a Sanskrit word for inert or like lifeless or dumb.
И Джада е дума, която описва слабоумен човек или безжизнен, безден.
Yeah, like this table would be called Jada. Or the floor, you know, the material nature without the living entity is Jada.
Не е инертно или безжизнено материалната енергия без душата е такъв пример.
Now you had the Maharaj Bharata, you had the deer Bharata, and now you have the Jada Bharata.
Имаме Махарадж Бharata, Еленът Бharata и сега имаме Джада Бharata.
And he's behaving in very strange ways.
И той се държи по много странен начин.
We will continue and we'll find out.
Ще продължим и ще разберем.
So, questions or comments?
Въпроси, коментари?
Otherwise we're early finished. But he was before you.
Why do our leaders in ISKCON struggle so much
Don't
with the
ask me.
Varnashram topic?
You know better than me. Tell us honestly what's going on in the
That's
GBC.
why we need your advice. Because we cannot figure it out. That's why we need your advice.
Защо нашите лидери в ИСКОН?
You're a little more on the ground.
Right. I don't know about that, but so you translated already.
Защо нашите лидери в ИСКОН все още така не могат да вземат единно решение за темата за Варнашрама Дарма?
Yeah, one problem is in the past it also happened in Germany, remember?
Oh yeah.
That devotees shy away.
Yes.
They're afraid to be designated
Yes.
as a Brahmana
Yes.
or Kshatriya or
Yes.
Vaishya.
Whatever. Yeah.
И в Германия има такъв случай, че преданите били така, се страхували да бъдат идентифицирани като брамани или кшатри.
No, that's exactly the problem.
Това е точно проблема.
And Prabhupada explained it. He explained it even in the morning talks in Vrindavan, 74-75. Hridayananda Maharaj was always pressing the point. He tried to figure it out. You know, I don't know whether he probably understood, and Prabhupada made, this was coming up, then, but we are devotees, even in our temples, Prabhupada.
74-75 Прабхупада е говорил по време на сутрешни разходки. Хридиананда Махарадж тогава е задавал тези въпроси.
So at that time, and just imagine, that's 50 years ago, Prabhupada talked about a Varnashram college in every temple.
Преди 50 години Шрила Прабхупада е говорил за Варнашрама колеж във всеки един храм.
Do we have a Varnashram college anywhere in ISKCON?
Имаме ли някъде такъв колеж?
So,
Not a real one.
that's what I mean. We have a Bhaktivinoda college in Radhadesh. We have.
Prabhupada also wanted a Varnashram University in Mayapur.
No, first I have a college, then you have a university. Maybe we should have a Varnashram basic rudimentary school first. No, ABC for that.
Прабхупада иска и университет, но може би трябва първо да направим основно училище.
We need some textbooks first before we have a college.
Добре да имаме първо книги преди
What
да
will
имаме
you
колеж.
teach at the college?
I mean, I have seen so many papers written over the last 50 years about this topic.
Има много неща написани през последните 50 години върху тази тема.
So actually, but the main problem was that, and that was asked to him, but we are, that's the point, we are Vaishnavas, we are beyond Varnashram. So suddenly now you're talking about Varnashram college and even introducing it in our temples. So it's like Arjuna and you're telling me action, non-action, now you're telling me I do this, but I'm confused. What do you mean?
Прабхупада е говорил, че вайшнавите са над тази система и след това той е казал, че трябва да приложим Варнашрама дарма, също както Арджуна е бил объркан да действа или да бездейства на бойното поле при Курукшетра.
Yeah, Krishna was telling and then now you're telling me to fight, but you talk about, so it's like, it seems to be contradictory.
И това изглежда противоречиво.
So that's our problem, I think. We are very difficult for us to accommodate apparently contradictory views of reality.
И може би това е нашата трудност да възприемем очевидно или привидно противоречиви истини за реалността.
So basically what Prabhupada's point was that we should be able to simultaneously take a position in the Varnashram system for showing the people in the world and simultaneously understand ourselves to be beyond as Vaishnavas. And that's very difficult to do.
Идеята на Прабхупада е била от една страна да приемем позиция в Варнашрама дарма, за да дадем пример на обществото, от друга страна да сме с разбирането, че ние сме отвъд тази система.
So it's like, we are not the body, but I'm the body. So what am I now? Should I act, I'm not the body, but I have to take care of the body. So, you're not a woman. No, but you're completely identifying with it. Obviously, we don't want to get into the details, but it's very obvious. And some men are very much conscious, I'm a man. So this simultaneous identity is very difficult to live.
Както с тялото. От една страна не сме тялото, но от друга страна в момента сме в това тяло. И трябва да се грижим за него. Така че действаме като тялото или не. По същия начин да се идентифицираме като мъж или жена.
So whether it ever will be solved, I have no idea. Probably not in my lifetime. I'm waiting for 50 years, so I don't have another 50. So, but maybe next generation, it's all up to you.
Дали този въпрос ще бъде разрешен? Вече чакам 50 години, не знам дали в този живот ще бъде разрешен. Може би следващата генерация.
I mean, in one sense, the textbooks are there. They're not written, but Prabhupada gave all the instructions. Now, just somebody has to figure out how to put it in such a way that we are able to apply it. I don't know.
От една страна, това, което казал Прабхупада, там просто някой трябва да го систематизира.
We do have some attempts that we have to acknowledge.
Имаме някакви опити, трябва да признаем.
Maybe the most prominent one we know in Western world is Shivara Maharaj's Rajadam. And he told me he was working with his, people on writing it out in detail. We haven't heard about, that was years ago he told me, so I'm not sure what. But that they do things and we don't even know yet, but maybe one day it will It's all in Hungarian anyway, so we'll see.
Publish a book,
Yeah, so
Varnashram, but Varnashram in Hungary.
well, that's what I mean. He's much focused on this. Then and you may remember he tried to introduce this in the RGB, gave some presentation, but he also sees that really nobody's really interested in it. So I'll do my thing, and then if it turns out here you have an example, and that's it.
Може би най-добрият пример е с Шивара Махарадж в Нивараджадам. Те работят по нещо, но ще видим дали ще излезе. Понеже тази идея била представена и няма много интерес, затова той се фокусирал да прави нещо в Унгария. Ако това е добър пример, след това други могат да го следват.
There are some other attempts in India, right? Bhakti Gauravani Maharaj and Bhakti Maharaj, and who knows, maybe in Brazil something is going on, but otherwise, I mean, don't ask us what we're doing in Spain. It's not Varnashram Dharma for sure. It's some agriculture and we have a few cows, but it's not Varnashram Dharma. It's not so easy. It's very difficult.
Има някои други примери в Индия, Бхакти Гауравани Госвами, Бхакти Махарадж, но в Испания има някакви опити, но със сигурност не е това, което трябва да е.
So the first step, I mean, Prabhupada, you have to see history. What Prabhupada tried to do is to create a section of brahmanas, the head of society.
Прабхупад това, което се опитва да направи е да създаде брамани или такава секция в обществото.
They are supposed to lead and organize everything, give instructions.
И от тях се очаква да водят и да дават наставления.
And I leave it at that. Do we have that head of society?
Maybe. Тази глава на обществото, може би.
Well, to do that you have to have the Brahminical qualities.
За да правиш това обаче, трябва да имаш брамински
And
качества.
look it up in Bhagavad Gita.
Нека да
Do we
погледнем.
know them by heart? 1842.
Нека да погледнем в Бхагавад Гита.
Not even sure, 40 or 42. 42, right? But anyway, so it's not so easy. It's on paper it looks like, but then application is another step. So
Хартия изглежда едно, но приложението е доста...
let's not become depressed. Jada Bharat is our hero here. Now we'll see. You just have to become like him. Become uninterested in the material world, and then everything will work out.
Нека да се депресираме, имаме добри пример Джада Барата Махарадж, да последваме него и да не се превързваме към материалните
That's a new
концепции.
creation, Jada Bharata Maharaj. Look, it sounds good. It's just he's not anymore. He was Maharaj. He is now just a dumb. We'll find out. Really, people think he's completely useless, stupid idiot, and he's a Paramahansa.
Въпреки че Парамаханса изглежда учето приведно глупа.
All right. Anything else? We have one more minute.
1 minute?
Yes, 1 minute.
So just want to go back to the topic of chanting, because in Soho Temple we also had this discussion not so long ago about we also had the class about chanting, and many of us were saying that we were it was really difficult to stay focused, concentrate for 2 hours. Though one of the offenses to the holy name is to not to lose attention. And everyone is after half an hour trying to bring it back to the present.
And so
If you're focused for 16 seconds,
I'm struggling to get focused after 2 minutes.
Half an hour ago. They said half an hour. They
Half
were
an
trying
hour,
to
that's
go and-
amazing.
They were
I
saying
think I have to go to Soho to advance.
These were Obera Martinez in saffron, so I consider them advanced,
We go to Soho to become, to understand how to chant.
Well,
London
they were
Maharaj
saying that, they
London
were
Maharaj
chanting.
says
After
16
half an hour, they couldn't keep it up, they were saying.
Yeah, Prahlada Maharaj said 16 seconds.
16 seconds concentrated.
What's how many minutes do you give us for concentration while chanting? I mean, it's really.
Oh, they were saying that on Acharya.
Yeah, no, but it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
So then it was discussed that, like, okay.
Don't ask me what to do. Huh?
Okay, I mean, we'll just tell you what they say. And then they said, like, we don't have a realization that the holy name
That's
and,
right.
and the Lord are the same.
Yes.
Just to start. We know about it, but we
Yes,
don't have
we
the
don't
realization.
know. We know and we don't know.
Also, we don't have taste for
That's
it.
right. That's
It
right.
doesn't, like,
Yes.
it's not natural. We are doing it because we have been told that we
Yes,
have to do
exactly.
it. And then they also said, I mean, that they
We
were
all
thinking,
know why not.
Again.
And one of the main problems is this: our phones.
But they chant all the days together there without
Yeah,
the phone.
that's all
you
right.
know?
But the phone is also with you. You're already thinking about how many messages do I have on Facebook? How many likes did I get today? Anyway, you want to summarize?
Ah, yeah, because I just said it in Hungarian, I'm sorry.
So,
Can you say it
yeah.
in Hungarian?
Въпросът беше свързан или по-скоро разяснението за мантруването и така че
I mean,
в принцип е много сложно човек да се концентрира за повече от
Yes.
определено време.
I mean, just remember that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is like 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, said that inattention was the main problem and the root of all the other offenses. That's more than where there's no there's not even electricity, no TV, no radio, no nothing, and still people have problems to focus. I mean, you know.
It's because of the attention span of the body. Like
Well, I mean, you know, three problems with this. One offense is inattention, which means distraction, and laziness. You know, like Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
So, like then.
And distraction. I don't know. You know, India, 150 years ago. What kind of distraction do you have?
Още преди 100 години Бхактира, но
The birds, right? I mean, what's our position? We don't have birds anymore, but we got so many other birds. We got, you know, now the Twitter bird is dead, but now you get
birds of our thoughts.
yeah. So
I mean, and then like it was said in the class that like though people are not really capable of keeping up with the concentration for too long, like he also said that like he noticed that some of them were not chanting aloud; they were chanting in the mind. And the
it's
first,
another speculation.
yeah,
Yes,
and they should be chanting. They should be listening to their own voice at least.
at least yes.
At least if they
We
can't
know
keep
all
up
of
the
what we have to do.
concentration.
We just
And
have
then
to do
one day, the Lord will allow us to develop awake taste
That's
for
right.
the holy name because it's like a mercy that you have to
Kabe
receive.
Holodinamar. When will the day come? Even
And
Bhaktivinoda
then
Thakur writes a whole song about
We
it.
can
When
chant
will the day
purely.
come? We don't know. Not, I
And
mean,
we-
hopefully in this lifetime, maybe next lifetime.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So that's what it is. And then it's
We'll meet again. Who knows where and when, but hopefully we'll meet again. So I think we are right. We have to finish here.
Okay.
We'll continue, I hope, if I'm still alive tomorrow, with Jada Bharat now. We'll see what he's going to do. They want to teach him Gayatri. Not possible.
ще продължим утре с Джада Барата и как се искали да го научат да мантрува Гаятри, което не е било възможно.
Yeah. I will try to go quickly through. I mean, there's still a few more chapters and we don't have much time, but very interesting story.
Много интересна история, ще опитам да мина през нея.
When he speaks to Rahugana Maharaj. Anyway, so thank you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Gauranitai Bhagavata Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna. So, das war's für heute.